Guys, we officially have an open source model that is rivaling the OpenAI's O1 series. Today's video, if you're into AI, is super crucial. Give it a check. Check also the tool over here. It's really amazing. I made a video 2 days ago. I covered this tool, and today they bring this huge update where we can see in this graph over here OpenAI O1. All right, this is not the preview version, not the mini version. They also got the mini version over here. They compare it with their tool, which is called Deepseek R1, and the 32 billion parameter model, and also the old model that they used, which is the model that I showcased in the yesterday's video. So what we can see here is that Deepseek R1, the full version, is competing and in some cases is better than O1, which is a closed source model, costs quite a lot. And this is absolutely incredible. This is a fully open source model, and they also have got a very cheap API on their site. We're talking about 89% reduction in cost compared to O1 API. This is huge. And they also got this 32 billion parameter model, which is cheaper and also is outperforming O1 Mini in various benchmarks. And in general, this open source platform, because already Deepseek V3 was open source, has made a considerable jump. This is absolutely insane. So they've done various different things with this architecture. I'm not going to go into the architecture, but essentially what they've done is that they used a large-scale reinforcement learning algorithm. They tested two things, starting with reinforcement learning, cold start, that's how they call it, without pre-training the model or anything, and also by starting with high-quality data and supervised fine-tuning. So what they've seen is that large-scale reinforcement learning, meaning the model iteratively improves itself, actually works pretty well. But starting from a good base model, fine-tuned, is even better. It's bringing even nicer returns. Also, what they've seen is that distillation, meaning having a large model and generating answers to the data and teaching at the same time a small model on these answers, is also very, very powerful. So what we will see in the future is various very small models having comparable performance to big ones. So we may be able to run on our own computers or through very, very cheap pricing using APIs, small models with a lot bigger capabilities. We're talking about a lot better performance than Claude Sonnet, ChatGPT 4o, etc. So we're talking about huge jumps made, and these are not gated only to rich people. They're coming to everyone over here. I don't want to waste any of your time with the technicalities. This channel over here is more of an overview channel and results based, high level things. As you see here, this is the steps of training. So on the x-axis, the horizontal axis, we can see as steps increase, the performance keeps increasing. On the y-axis, here is accuracy. So what we can see is that as steps increase, the performance keeps increasing, which is great. Of course, there is some kind of stagnation at 8,000 steps, but I firmly believe with the knowledge they've got out of this and starting from a better base model, they will be able to improve this training paradigm even better. Like start and use like 1,000th of a steps, like go with 1,000 steps, 2,000 steps and reach the same performance when they drop their new paper. This is absolutely amazing. Also, what they've seen is that the average length per response was bigger and bigger and bigger as training was progressing. So these models are very verbal. They talk. They produce loads and loads of tokens. So I don't want to waste a lot of your time with the technicalities. You can go ahead and read the paper on your own, but I want to go into the benchmark where we have Claude Sonnet, GPT-4o, the old version of Deepseek, O1 Mini and OpenAI O1. Like these guys are the first ones to compare with these O series models. All of the other people that drop benchmarks up till now have been avoiding that. So the model R1 is a mixture of experts with 37 billion parameters activated during inference and 670 billion parameters in total. So a big model, but because it is a mixture of experts, the cost during inference are not really that huge. What we see over here is that it's absolutely absolutely great. I would say that this mixture of experts is probably closer to O1 Mini, while O1 may be even bigger. But again, OpenAI is going to drop O3 very soon, and it's going to be even better. But we can see here that is actually beating loads of times the O1 model, or is very close. One of the things that I want to look at is that on code forces, this is like the code benchmarks, it does incredibly well. And this is open source, guys. This is important to note. This is open source, an open source model. And the most important thing is that it is indeed a big leap from the previous very great open source model that they have released. And of course, it smokes GPT-4o and various other tools like that. Let's go into the distilled models, because these are even more amazing in my opinion. I want and I look on small models that I can use on my computer or with very low cost. And if you can see over here, it absolutely is amazing. They distilled the responses of R1 on Qwen 32 billion and they absolutely did amazing. If you look at Llama, it does even better with 70 billion parameters. This is absolutely insane, and it's reaching the levels of O1 Mini. And these guys over here are a lot cheaper to run. If you see here, the most exciting thing on this benchmark, in my opinion, is these two models, the 7 billion and 14 billion parameter models. And I would say also Llama, but I think this Qwen model is better than this Llama model. So I think also a big jump could happen using the Qwen architecture and distilling Qwen instead of Llama. And Llama 70 billion is better just due to sheer size. It's 2 times bigger than Qwen 32 billion. So what we can see here is that it's absolutely comparable to O1 Mini with only 14 billion parameters. This is insane. It's only lacking on code forces. This is incredible. But also this 7 billion parameter model that you can run on a $300, $400 GPU on your computer is also doing amazingly well, especially if you compare with GPT-4o and Claude, which are not reasoners really, but they offer like a sense of comparison with closed source free models that you can actually use right now. And you also got this QWQ 32 billion preview. It's a big jump. And also the things that they saw about training will save a lot of companies and a lot of researchers a lot of times, because they actually released the things that they learned. So distillation versus reinforcement learning, they saw that actually distilling the model is super beneficial and it improves indeed the performance. So that's also another insight. And in general, they also point to different directions. Again, this is like preliminary research, function calling, multi-turn, role-playing, JSON outputting. These models are not really good at it because they have not been trained for these things. There's also not a lot of language. It's only Chinese and English. So it would be nice if they've got also other languages. And I think this is very easy to do, just with an extra step before. Translate everything in English or Chinese, or just use more data from other sources. That's also a way. Prompt engineering. So these models, these reasoners are very sensitive to prompts. So you have to prompt them in a specific way. Otherwise, they hallucinate probably quite a lot or miss the point. And here we've got the software engineering tasks. So they did not test it on software engineering tasks, and they say that the performance gain is not that big compared to this Deepseek V3. I think these software coding tools and tasks, live code bench, I don't know if these are software. It seems like software, these two. It performed quite well. Also here, I think the code tasks performed quite well, I would say. I think there is an important leap. But what they probably say is that this model, using better data at the start and, taking what they learned from it, rerunning with a little bit of differences, the training, this model could also be even better, which is amazing. Actually, it smokes O1 on math, which is insane. And also it's very good at Chinese, because I think O1 is not trained for that, or they did not run it for that kind of things. But yeah, it seems like a very good model, and this is very exciting for open source research. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and watch my previous videos for LLMs and image generators. Bye.